just 2 rounds of the 96 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship, everyone's talking about Craig Lowndes. The 21-year-old rookie has arrived with all the subtlety of a Scud missile, confounding his critics with a shattering display of speed and aggression to win 3 of the first 6 races. But unlike his Eastern Creek debut, the youngster found the going a lot tougher in the Biff and Barge Round 2 at Melbourne's Sandown Park 3 weeks ago. Glenn Seaton copped a $2,000 fine for helping Brocky rearrange the guardrail, while Lowndes showed John Bowe his no-nonsense response to the champ's defensive driving. Dick Johnson got the short back and sides in a first-lap smash-up derby, while Glenn Seaton and Mark Scape stunned race cam viewers, taking time out for a brief chat at 250 Ks. After just 2 rounds, Lowndes has opened a 30-point break on Ford foes John Bowe and Glenn Seaton, with Wayne Gardner and Mark Scape snapping at their heels. Today, the 7 Network welcomes you to Mount Panorama, Bathurst for round 3 of hostilities in the Shell V8 War. The mountain's daunting 6.2-kilometre course is the birthplace of our Ford versus Holden legend and remains one of the toughest and most demanding racetracks on the globe. Dick Johnson was given a chilling reminder of that nearly 12 months ago when his rear wing collapsed at 280 kilometres an hour. Bathurst is not a place for the faint-hearted. Today we'll also get our first taste of NASCAR racing Bathurst style, and we'll take a minute getting to know Holden legend Larry Perkins. All that and much more to come when the thundering V8s cut loose at Mount Panorama.
Hello, welcome to Mount Panorama, the mecca of motorsport. And yes, it has been a Lowndes landslide in the first 2 rounds of the Shell Series so far. But the hard men of motorsport are banking their reputations on Mount Panorama to turn the tide for the 96 Series. John Bowe scorched the track in qualifying to grab pole position for Shell Falcon in 2:10.8. And the Bathurst King, Holden racing veteran Peter Brock, is back where he reckons he belongs, on the front row. And that's pushed young Lowndes back to 5th position behind Glenn Seaton and Wayne Gardner. We've also got NASCAR racing and Formula Fords to add to the action here today. But where the tourists are concerned, Rocky is smiling, and so Andy Raymond is the Tassie Devil.
Yes, Gary, this is round 3, and for each of those races, John Bowe has set pole position. Could this one be the one, John?
Well, I hope so. The first couple of rounds we had a variety of problems, and young Craig did a tremendous job, as did the HRT team, but we're hoping we'll give him something to think about today.
Tyres have been of utmost importance for the last couple of years, and you've got the brand new Japanese Dunlops.
I have. They're in the development phase, and they requested that myself and Larry Perkins run them so they can get some more feedback, and I'm happy to do that because if you look at the big picture, we've got to have something good for here in October, and this is going to help us. Is
John Bowe a nervous man at the moment?
This time of the day I'm always nervous, but I think we'll go okay.
We wish you all the best. Let's go now to Mark Osler and Bradley Jones.
Race 1, round 3, the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. The defending champion, John Bowe, pride of place on pole position for Shell Falcon, shod with new Dunlop rubber from Japan for this race. Alongside him, front row of the grid, the Holden racing veteran Peter Brock. Second row, Glenn Seaton for Ford Credit and Coca-Cola Racing's Wayne Gardner.
Row 3, the gun, Craig Lowndes and Larry Perkins. From row 4, it's Mark Scape and the Shell entry of Dick Johnson.
Fifth row of the grid is Neil Crompton and Tony Longhurst. Row 6, Alan Jones and Greg Crick.
Row 7, David Parsons and Mark Larkham. Stephen Richards and Trevor Ashby share row 8.
Ninth row is held by Terry Finnegan and Paul Romano, 2 of the privateers. Then Steve Ellery and Bob Pearson. They've qualified well.
Another big field, David Attard and Peter McLeod are row 11. Johnny Cotter and Wayne Russell, row 12.
Row 13, Russell Ingle, well back. Bill Attard alongside him and Kevin Heffernan on row 14. Will it sort them in for the boys? Mount Panorama can do that. John Bowe, Peter Brock on the front row. Then Seaton, Gardner and Lowndes. Set to go, and away they go. Peter Brock, John Bowe, get off together. Brock quickest on the outside. Look, will he get across into the first corner? Yes, I think he will. Brock leads.
A great start from the Holden pilot. Peter Brock leads. A huge field here at Mount Panorama. Up the straight for the very first time. Bowe already mounting a challenge on fresh tyres. It's Ford and Holden side by side. Up the mountain, and it'll be Bowe. Already a lead change. And look at that troop of cars in behind. A good start from Wayne Gardner.
Well, John Bowe getting plenty of speed out of these new tyres in qualifying. Question mark over whether they'll last the race distance, but he's got plenty of speed out of the Shell FAI Falcon the first time up the hill. Peter Brock tucked in beside him, and as Andy said, a massive field of V8s, 26 in all. Head up across the mountain for the first time. There's the first of the Coke cars in third. Seaton back there too. Bumper to bumper up toward Reed Park. Across the top, the Tui's Red Bridge. Field sorting itself out. Bowe, Brock behind him, smoke coming from the car. The Coke car in third. Down across McPhillamy Park. 200 kilometres an hour to head down towards Skyline for the first of 10 laps.
Dick Johnson from position 8 has moved up through the field, looking good as the veteran. But it is his co-driver, John Bowe, Brock, Gardner, then Johnson. Seaton follows. There's the Castrol cars, Larry Perkins and Tony Longhurst.
Boy, haven't these cars been fast in qualifying. First 11 under Bowe's lap records, and at the same meeting some 12 months ago. Incredible amount of development in 5-litre V8 racing in Australia, and it's certainly being shown here. A 10.88 for Bowe in qualifying, and he's leading the pack of Merrydance this first time down Conrod. 290 kilometres an hour as they come over the rise and through this incredibly quick part of the circuit. There's Gardner in fourth. You've got Johnson right behind him. Seaton in fifth. Lowndes in sixth. As we take Dunlop race cam aboard Shell 17. Dick Johnson really pumped up for this meeting. You ask Dick about the Touring Car Championship, he'd say he wishes every round was held at Mount Panorama. He loves the place so much, and he's really come alive this weekend.
Dick Johnson and Tony Longhurst both have made great starts from their relative grid positions, but Mark Scaife's been pushed back just a little after starting from position 7.
Well, Dick, he got a bit of a slow run out of there, put the wheel up on the curb, and Glenn Seaton was able to capitalise.
Yeah, we saw that from race cam. Johnson a little untidy coming onto the main straightaway. As Mark said, Glenn Seaton able to capitalise. He moves up to occupy position number 4 on the racetrack, and all of a sudden Johnson is under enormous pressure. There's Craig Lowndes right on the hammer.
And Mark Scaife has moved up a spot to split Larry Perkins and Tony Longhurst.
Look at Craig Lowndes here getting up behind Johnson. Castrol Commodore in there too, those two getting serious. Johnson on a more conservative tyre choice than his teammate Bowe. Interesting to see how this emerges as the race wears on. Only 10 laps, but a very, very demanding track, and these guys are driving absolutely 10 tenths. Maximum attack. Bowe getting under the wing of the Shell 17 Falcon. There's Gardner in third.
Driving 10 tenths and no doubt enjoying the sprint format here at the very spectacular Mount Panorama circuit. There's Johnson and Lowndes, the battle we are watching, and the battle on the track at the moment. Seaton closing in on the tail of Wayne Gardner. As it stands, we have Ford, Holden, Ford.
Well, that first time around, an absolute flyer from a standing start at 2:14.78. It's just outside lap record pace, so these guys are going to get quicker and quicker as the race wears on. Fabulous turn of speed for
And Glenn
V8.
Seaton, after lagging a little off the start, is really beginning to eat on the leaders now, really coming on strong.
Well, there's Craig Lowndes giving a bit of a lesson in fast driving at Mount Panorama yesterday. Only qualified 5th fastest. I know he wanted to be up.
Current series leader, and one would have thought that if he could have qualified 5th and consolidated throughout the races, he would have been relatively happy. That is the nature of the beast that is Craig Lowndes. He's 6th on the racetrack at the moment.
There's Wayne Gardner coming under fire. Glenn Seaton's Ford Credit Falcon. We take 7 race cam. Getting up behind the wing of the Coca-Cola Commodore. And this number 4 Coke car really has pricked up its ears this year. Had trouble getting some consistent race speed out of the Coke Commodores over the last couple of years, but they really have got these things sorted out. He's running with the pack right at the front of the field. He's got Seaton right behind him as they come across the start-finish line at 2:12.95 for John Bowe that time around. Another 2 seconds out of it. Keep in mind he did a 2:10.88 on nice fresh tyres in qualifying. So time's tumbling at Mount Panorama. Look at Seaton, maximum attack. Gets up behind the Coke Commodore once again. No shortage of mumbo from the Rob Benson Chevy in front of him, 550 to 600 horsepower. Glenn Seaton has a look up the outside. Gardner moves over to cover his territory.
Not a lot of tactics there. That was a straight-out drag, Mark Osler.
So we welcome Brad Jones to the commentary, and Bradley, really, Wayne's under a lot of pressure here.
Well, he certainly is. Glenn's car's just handling very nicely, going around the corners perfectly, but he doesn't have the squirt to get by Wayne. Wayne's pretty well got him covered, and as you said, the Coke team are all a bit taily there. Really working the car well.
Could it be Wayne Gardner's feeling the pressure that's being applied by Glenn Seaton? The top of
That's the problem Wayne's got at the moment. He's got Glenn right on him, and he needs to be chasing Brock. So he's just skipped away a little bit from Glenn. he's obviously got the car working very nicely across the top of the hill, and just doesn't seem to be much between the two of them now.
Down through the Firestone Dipper. Gardner opens 3 or 4 car lengths on Seaton down through here.
An interesting scenario, Mark Osley. We've spoken about the tyres that John Bauer's using. They are the new Japanese Dunlops. Everyone said he's gone the soft compound. What's Peter Brock done? He's sticking with Bauer at the moment. It'll all unfold.
It should be interesting as he gets in behind the Shell #1 Falcon, right up behind his bumper bar. Really close here, 290 kilometres an hour. A little puff of dust from Bauer's car as he uses all the road that he can get his tyres on. Brock has a real look up the inside, just gets in to his rear passenger door, but not enough to get past him. So Brock's letting Bauer know he's really serious here. Gardner closes the gap up too. Then there's Johnson still managing to hold out Lowndes.
Well, what we've got here is as the front boys start to fight a little bit harder, of course they're allowing the others to catch up, and that was a pretty serious go Brock had with Bauer then. But it's the old saying, fast in, slow out. You've got to get a nice balance. JB held his line nicely, pinched Brock to the inside, and of course drove out of the corner quite quickly. It usually takes about 3 laps for the Bridgestones to get up to operating temperature, to get maximum grip, and obviously at this point in time Brock's car is working very well, as is Glenn.
Well, this looks like a little manoeuvre may have slowed them down a bit, Bradley, at 2:14 for both Bauer and Brock on that lap, everyone else in the mid-13s, so that slowed them up a bit.
This is the battle for 7th and 8th on the racetrack. It is Mark Scaife in pursuit. He is after Larry Perkins, a gentleman that knows this track oh so well. Through the cutting they go. And Scaife, after missing the start, had a little surge, is now right back on the pace. Once again, Larry Perkins a little taily as they make their way up towards the top of the mountain. Scaife flying new colours this weekend. We welcome Seeger along the touring car circus for 1996. Another name, another face, and it's great to have them aboard. What can their pilot do?
We take Seeger Holden Race Cam aboard the Seeger Commodore. This is the brand new car built by Gibson Motorsport for the 96 season. Unfortunately, tangled up in a crash at Easter Creek. Missed the Sandown round where they ran the spare. Now he's back in his prized possessions. Brand new car. Boy, it's getting some speed out of it here.
I wouldn't mind a spare car like the one Mark Scaife has. He performed admirably down at Sandown. What can he produce here at Mount Panorama? Larry Perkins is the guy he plans to pass just next. Down Conrod Straight through race cam, you get a fantastic feel for just how quick these guys are. There are our race leaders. Brock continues to apply the pressure again, just ducks down low on the circuit mark. He really is keeping John Bauer in 2 minds.
Certainly is applying the pressure. And look at this leading 6 cars, all getting bunched up more and more, so evenly matched. 2:14.06 the last time around for Bauer. Let's see if he's been able to open up a little bit. Had a little bit of confidence he was going to be able to do the job here. Only 10 laps, hold the tyres together, but Glenn Seaton getting very close behind Gardner, but he can't get close enough to have a go under brakes into Hell Corner as they head up Mountain Straight once again.
A fantastic close battle on screen now. Wayne Gardner, Glenn Seaton, the battlers for 3rd and 4th on the track. Once again, Seaton goes to the extreme left of the circuit. Once again, it's a drag. Yet again, it's Gardner. And I think, Brad Jones, that this battle between Seaton and Gardner has promoted the 2 guys on the track. They're certainly not too far behind Brock and Bauer anymore.
Well, they're not really blocking one another too much, and as we saw before, when Peter goes down inside of JB, it just pulls half a second out of their lap time, and these 2 are right on them. What we've got here is Glenn's car looks to be a little bit better around the bottom of the circuit through the mid to slow speed corners, and Gardner's car's a bit quicker across the top, but they're definitely closing up on the leaders here.
So I guess with a track this long, you've just really got to plan your move about a lap ahead. Let's have a look at how they're running at the moment on the Shell Race Car. John Bauer in control for Peter Brock, Wayne Gardner in 3rd position, Glenn Seaton in the Ford Credit Falcon in 4th, and Dickie Johnson in 5th. Don't go away. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Coming under fire, little lock break. Brock tried the inside last time around, goes to the outside this time through the chase. 5 laps completed when they come across the start-finish line. This will be half distance, and Brock's getting very hot under the collar about this. He wants to get in front, and Bauer, one of the toughest customers in the business to pass, is going to make life very, very difficult for Peter Brock.
Mark Craig Lowndes up to position 5 on the circuit. He is right behind Glenn Seaton. And these first 5 inseparable at this halfway way stage. Race number 1, round number 3 of the 1996 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. And it is the Shell car, John Bower, dictating the pace once again up Mountain Straight.
Well, Bradley, we can see here Brock is trying every trick in the book.
The speed these cars are going, there's probably only 3 or 4, and JB's universally known as one of the hardest blokes in motorsport to get around, and he's just making his car wide enough that Brock's having to go around the outside, which, being that long, you know, very rarely you're going to get around there.
Peter's seen the rear bumper of plenty of Fords in his time. I don't know whether any of them have been as wide as what the one is at the moment. John Bower doing a fantastic job.
Well, we saw John pay the price at Sandown a couple of weeks ago. Tried to cover his tracks from Craig Lowndes, and Lowndes drove his way through, gave him a tap and spun Bower on the main straight. Pretty exciting stuff. But JB will not change his character of driving. This is the boys here. Graphic indication of how quick they're going down here. This is 180 miles an hour on the old scale. Very, very fast in the straight line. Look at Brock. Giving it everything under brakes once again, just on the outside. But I guess there's not an opportunity down there, Brad.
Is there an opportunity now? Sorry, Brad. Peter went to the outside, had the momentum coming into the left-hander. Who is it going to be? Bow inside, Brock on the outside. Now, has that in turn opened the door for Wayne Gardner as they head across the strike? That is 6 laps completed. We have 4 remaining.
Looks like Brock was able to recover from that slow corner exit, block Gardner out, but Gardner really is on a charge here. He's got a bit closer to Brock that time around too. And Lowndes, meanwhile, has got past Glenn Seaton in that fracas. So he's moved up to 4th position. He's going absolutely gangbusters here, and he's going to be up behind Gardner for too long. So it's Bow under brakes, flames belching from the exhaust of the Shell 1 Falcon. He's got Brock in behind him. And it's Gardner in the Coke Commodore, giving the 2 Holden Racing Team cars a run for their money here.
If Craig Lowndes can continue this surge through the field, Brad, and get past Wayne Gardner, it's the perfect ally for Peter Brock as he tries to hunt down John Bower.
Well, I don't know if Craig's going to be a rear gunner for Brock. He's certainly, that'll be his next target. But what we're seeing here is we've got a gaggle of cars like a Formula Ford race, and there's one passing opportunity they try and make, and it's affecting the first 7 cars. And of course, Craig was fortunate enough in that shuffle up that, you know, Glenn got a little bit balked and he got down the inside of him. But it just goes to show you how close the racing is at the moment. Draw blocking and counter blocking.
No love lost here. Wayne Gardner, of course, a former factory driver with the Holding Racing Team, didn't leave on the most amicable of terms.
One of many.
Really looking to get one up here on Craig Lowndes, but Lowndes, maximum attack, really applying the thumb screws as they come down toward Forest Elbow once again. He's running out of time, and Gardner showing equal to the task, doing a lot of driving this year, not only in V8 touring cars, but in the Japanese GT Sports Car Championship. He's getting a lot of miles behind the wheel, and he really is driving like a demon in 96. Lowndes moves over to try and get a free ride from Gardner down this long Conrod straight. Bow still in command. Brock sweeps in behind him. Bit of smoke belching from the exhaust of the Shell car. Brock right up the side. He's going to try a run around the outside. But, oh, there's a touch there. But Bow just showing how tough he is to get past.
Exceptional stuff from the big bangers of Australian motorsport. Look at Lowndes all over the tail of Gardner, who in turn is right on Peter Brock. We have got yet another great battle developing here at Mount Panorama, the scene of so many great races. The 1996 touring car race version, no different whatsoever. Glenn Seaton still in this one, Mark Osler. He's lost nothing on the tail of Craig Lowndes.
Take roof cam, Dunlop race cam, riding with Dick Johnson up behind Glenn Seaton. So it's Bow, Brock, Gardner, Lowndes, Seaton. Here's Johnson in 6th position. He's got Perkins, Scape and Longhurst behind him as they thunder up just on the rev limit. You can hear that engine working really hard. 7,500 RPM. In 6th gear. Whoa, look at the car get a little bit sideways there. Lowndes had a big sideways drift on through that corner. Managed to catch it.
1 lap remains. Just over 6 kilometres. And this is the battle. Positions 5 and 6.
Well, it's going to be desperate stuff now. Look at Lowndes just up there in front of Seaton. Really, really close to the back of the Coke Commodore. We take Seeger race cam. Mark Scape getting a little bit closer behind Johnson. So there's 7 of them all climbing over each other. It's been on since the first lap. Seeger Holden race cam shows you Mark Scape hard at work in the office of this Commodore.
The other interesting thing about Scape is we can see this as we've discussed before, the seat. It's amazing that Lucky's got a hole in it actually, because we wouldn't be able to see him work. But That's a new safety innovation that they've just brought in this year. If you can remember back to the Brock accident at Eastern Creek, it's to try and stop the head movement in those shunts. So we've got a Castrol car there. Is that Larry?
Can't see the number. It's number 8. It's Russell Ingall. Had a bit of a drama in qualifying. Car fell onto 7 cylinders, so he ended up way down the field. He's been fighting his way back, but all to no avail.
After a good start to the season, it's been a disappointing weekend thus far for Russell Ingall. The field is as follows: Bow, Brock, Gardner, Lowndes, Seaton, Johnson, Scaife. That's 1 through 7. We're on the last lap. It's heat number 1 of 3 heats here today at Mount Panorama. Bow and Brock. This one isn't over. Now, Peter Brock's tried a few different manoeuvres going into Caltech's chase. Brad Jones and Mark Osler.
Outside, and I think if he is able to pull that move off, he certainly won't allow Bow to run him off the road quite as easily as he did. I mean, there's no time left, and as you can see, he's right on him.
It's crunch time.
Just tried that a few times. He's going to try and switch back, try and get the inside line for the run down to head into Murray's corner, but couldn't quite do it. Now he comes up the outside. Bow's got the right racing line for this final corner. Brock gets squeezed. He's going to have to go maximum on the brakes here. You can see Bow just using everything he's got on the anchors, but just not enough. And he manages to hold out Brock, takes the win, with Gardner just holding out Lowndes 3rd, 4th, Seaton in 5th, Johnson and Scaife. A fabulous race.
Wow, talk about thrill a minute, but Johnny Bow for Shell Falcon is the winner from Peter Brock. Wayne Gardner holding down 3rd place just ahead of Craig Lowndes. Glenn Seaton in 5th. 6th position goes to Dick Johnson, then Mark Scaife,